Drones are safer than ever. So why is it getting harder to actually fly them? Because when you actually look at what's changed over the last few years, the technology has improved massively. Better sensors, smarter systems, built-in safety features that can basically save the drone if something goes wrong. Yet at the same time, there are more restrictions, more rules, and more admin than ever before. So what's actually going on here? Is it really about safety or something else? The drone industry is growing fast. The global drone market is projected to reach over 182 billion by 2033. But the growth isn't coming from consumer drones anymore. It's coming from commercial use. Commercial unit shipments are expected to explode, while the consumer side is actually being restrained by stringent aviation regulations and compliance costs. So straight away, that tells you something. The industry is growing, just not in the direction we see as hobbyists or creators. And then you look at the safety side of things. We're constantly told that this is all about safety, but when you actually look at the data, things don't really line up. The EASA 2025 safety review showed only 21 total incidents in 2024. That's encouragingly low. And at the same time, drones now have between 10 and 15 sensors such as LiDAR, multi-camera systems, vision assist, return to home, AirSense. These things can basically save themselves if something goes wrong. And when issues do happen, they're usually down to the pilot, not the drone, such as losing orientation, poor distance judgment, or relying too much on automation. So the weak point isn't really the drone anymore, it's the human behind it. And that's where it starts to feel off, because the drones are improving safety, yet the rules are getting stricter, not more relaxed. And you can see that how even in smallest drones, like in the UK, you now need to be registered. Anything over around 100 grams, you need to register. Now this is where it starts to get frustrating because they don't take into account pilot experience at all. If you're licensed in one country, if you go to fly somewhere else, you have to start all over again. For example, I was fully qualified in Canada, advanced certified, and when I wanted to fly in the UK, even though I already had been through a tough system that focused heavily on aviation, it didn't count. I had to redo all the tests, and honestly, not much was different. A lot of what actually helped me was learning on YouTube, especially creators like Don Drones On. Yes, I went through the official training, but YouTube actually helped more when it came to applying the knowledge and understanding how to pass the tests. And the same thing happened when I moved to the EU. I had to retake all my exams again and none of my experience counted, which makes zero sense. Now there might be small changes in airspace rules from different regions, but learning about the drone, weather factors and human factors, that's all the same. So you end up constantly starting from zero, and that's not improving safety, that is just adding friction. And that friction makes it harder for people to travel and fly, which basically kills the whole travel drone side of things. And then, when you actually look at the rules themselves, they don't take into account modern drone technology. Over the years, drones have improved massively. They're quieter, safer, with better systems like AirSense, LiDAR for smart return to home, vision assist to see your surroundings, all while meeting regulations to get that coveted C label. Yet none of this is really reflected in the exams. It's all based on older technology. I get it, we still need to know the basics, but they need to be updated so we can start understanding these modern systems. If it wasn't for YouTube creators explaining these features and updates, most of us wouldn't even know how to use them properly. Some of these tests feel outdated based on traditional aviation rather than drones we're actually flying. There's honestly better education on YouTube than official training. This is where something needs to change, because drone pilots should be able to carry over their knowledge and experience over to other countries, even if it means to pay a small fee and to maybe do a small test to at least cover the minor airspace rules changes. That would make far more sense. I mean, if I was to go to the US right now or Singapore, I would have to start all over again. And then when you actually look where you can fly, that's another issue. Take national parks, for example. Some of the best locations you could ever capture, completely off limits. They don't always clearly explain why, which is frustrating. I can understand some of the reasons. Protecting wildlife, preserving the peace, preventing forest fires, that all makes sense. But right now, recreational flying is completely off limits. You can only fly under specific categories like film, search and rescue, or resource management, for example. I get it to a point, but it could be managed better. If it were controlled access systems, small fees, limited zones, or time slots, people could still fly responsibly, and that money can go back into maintaining those areas. And it's not just parks. Trying to get permission to fly in general can feel completely fragmented. You're dealing with multiple entities, different systems, different rules. Why can't there just be one place where all the permissions can be requested and authorized? Some countries don't even have proper apps. You have to request permissions separately, maybe even by email or paper. Come on. Sometimes it takes days or even weeks to get approval. It's so fragmented that it's no surprise some people just risk it. We clearly have the technology to fix this. We could have one system with one profile, with all our drones listed under there, and permissions handled all in one place. And the flights could be tracked and organized and cross-referenced with manned aircraft. I really don't understand why this hasn't been done properly. Then there's something else that's changed everything in recent times. War. Since the conflict in the Middle East and the Russia-Ukraine war, the use of drones in warfare has completely changed the perception of drones. Now, I've seen more videos on military drones than I have done recreational drones, and some of the views on these videos are reaching the hundreds of thousands or even millions. Now, that doesn't bode well for the drone community, because now governments are more likely to introduce blanket bans or wider restrictions. Most of us don't mean any harm whatsoever. We just want to fly, enjoy the views, and have fun. Or for some people, it's how they make their money, whether it's real estate, construction, or film work. But it's becoming increasingly harder to fly, and war doesn't help this situation. I mean, it's inevitable that drones would eventually be used this way, but it ends up affecting everyone else. And this is where you start to question things a bit. Is this a way of slowly restricting recreational drones to make space for something else? I've seen people mention this in the comments and in forums, that maybe governments are pushing out hobbyists by limiting where we can fly so they can make way for corporate drone operations. Things like deliveries, logistics, all of that. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening, but when you look at the direction where everything is going, it does make you think. There's also the lack of education for people who don't fly drones. You know those people, they instantly don't like drones. We usually call them Karens. They actually make things worse. You could be flying legally with permission, doing everything right, but because they don't understand, they escalate the situation. Even when you explain you need to land the drone first, they can still push it further and make things more dangerous. Now, I haven't personally experienced this, but I have heard it from others. And if this has happened to you, just let me know in the comments. Because there's very little public education around this. There's no clear guidance for non-drone users on what to do or not to do when they see someone flying. And whether people like it or not, drones are part of everyday life now. And then there's something we've all seen. Drone footage on social media. Some of the best clips out there, and realistically, do you think all of this is legal? Probably not, but those flights happened and nothing went wrong. No crashes, no interference, no issues. And when you look at the comments, it's mostly praise. Very rarely do people question whether it was legal or not. So you end up in this weird situation where the flight clearly worked, there were no problems, but none of that real world performance is used to adapt the rules. And this isn't just a drone thing, it happens in film as well. Take Rocky for example. That running scene in the morning in the market, they didn't have permits for that. They just went out and shot it. And it kind of feels like we're in the same place now. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. And I think that's where things start to break a bit. Because if people are doing these flights and nothing is going wrong, then it raises the question, are the rules really reflecting what drones are capable of today? Take something like BVLOS. Most people would agree we're capable of flying beyond line of sight. We understand the technology, the capabilities, we've got return to home, telemetry, maps, orientation, distance. The tools are there. But again, the rules don't really reflect that. So when you look at everything together, the technology is improving, but it's becoming harder to actually fly. More restrictions, more admin, more friction. So is this really about safety or is something else going on? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below and what you think regulators can do to help improve this for all of us.